Goodness me, Ali, since we last hung out together, a whole lot of life has happened, hasn't it?
It has happened and continues to happen. Yes.
Yeah, and so, we started off this year sharing with all our listeners that is the year of 2025 and it's the year of the Jubilee, and we're expecting for really great things. And what's our reality been?
For me, rain, rain, more rain, school being cancelled because of rain, rains washing away the roads, mud, mold.
And the
Yeah,
list goes on.
yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
yeah.
Yeah.
And for me, this year, started with losing a dear friend,
Mm,
and we've just had the bumpiest weather on our bottom end of the same continent that you're on.
mm,
And today we sit here with, extreme fire danger risks and
yeah,
warnings, and
yeah.
wow,
Yeah, you've got your radio in the background listening to any instructions and
Yeah, I've got a little radio here in case I need to kind of pack up quickly and, exit. And so, this
Mm,
notion, so it's just a really good topic. What do we do when we're expectant for great things
mm.
in
A
life?
year of the Jubilee.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then the reality of our circumstances around us seems like things are
yeah,
just moving in completely the opposite direction.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's a great conversation, and I sit here and we're sitting opposite each other on our computer screen, and we're still chuckling. We're talking about fire dangers and floods, and we're chuckling. But I think, look, it's a reality. We
Yeah.
can go about expecting really great things, or we can expect an outcome for our lives or for our family. And when the reality is looking a bit different, that that can be a really tricky space to be in, and it's
Yeah.
definitely not a laughing matter, but it's absolutely something that we are smiling across because we've what is it, where does this, I don't know, there must be something in our heart, in our spirit, that we can talk about these things and still have a bit of a smile on our face. I think that's an interesting conversation.
Yeah. Goodness, Elle. I'm not even sure where to start with this, but you are right. And I think, for you and me and most people listening and who've been listening with us alongside with us for a while now, will know
Yeah,
that we both have a faith. We both
yeah.
believe there's a God out there who absolutely loves us and
Mm,
whose heart is to bless us.
mm,
And yeah, I think just hanging on to knowing that circumstances often paint this picture. And, bringing in what we've learned from coaching and the neuroscience of how our brains work
great.
and all of that is that as humans, we have this sort of inbuilt thing to generalize often
Mhm.
about what's going on, And so, and I think because there's so much information coming in at us at all times, our
Yeah,
brain has this amazing capacity to generalize so that
yeah,
we don't get overwhelmed by things.
yeah,
However, in this generalizing, it's so easy to set our eyes on the circumstances and, what's not going well. And then we
mm,
generalize that and say, oh, but my whole life is
yeah,
now not going well.
yeah.
And I think potentially why we can smile in the midst of everything is perhaps along our journeys as coaches and
Mm,
our faith journeys, we've recognized that there are moments and times when it's probably wise to not generalize and sort
yes.
of say that, oh, so this is happening out in the world, therefore
Yeah.
my whole world is dire,
Yeah.
and we can choose to focus on, yeah, that might be happening out there,
Mm,
but there's a whole lot of other stuff that's
mm,
also true,
mm,
that's also real right now,
mm.
that actually is good.
Yeah. I love that. And it brings to mind there was this footage that I saw on the news because obviously I'm not somebody who watches a lot of the news. Like I choose when to watch the news and I
Yeah,
turn it off. I want to be mindful of what's happening in the world, but I don't want it to be on 24/7. So I'm in that place of, oh my goodness, the world is collapsing around me.
yeah,
But there was this footage, and it was between Townsville and Ingham, and the road completely washed away. So
yeah,
Ingham completely isolated. They, didn't have enough groceries and everybody's flooded and there's lots of hard things going on in Ingham. But what was amazing, so yes, it was amazing to see the road completely gone and the bridge gone and to think what could go wrong in that space. But
And
what
to know that
was
that's part of the Bruce Highway. Hey, it
part
was,
of the
yeah.
major highway in
Yeah.
Queensland,
Yeah.
yes. So it was big, right? But what was even more amazing for me to see was the ADF going up there and in one day, they rebuilt a bridge to make it possible to cross. Now, that is truly amazing. So I can focus on all of the things that go wrong. And yes, we need to be mindful. But when we choose to go, wow, how amazing are people?
Yeah.
You know, how amazing that we have the resources and the ability, the skills to rebuild a bridge. And
Yeah.
it wasn't a small one. It's not just like some little tiny, it's a part of the highway. So trucks can get resources across. Before that, it was the Chinooks and whatever doing everything. But I just think it's a lot of it is where we're choosing to have our eyes, what we're choosing to see. And we carry that part. And, you know, we were chuckling before because I sent you videos of Jackson canoeing in the backyard.
Yeah, so just on that note, because all this massive weather event has been happening up north, and I now live, down south.
Yeah.
I have been watching way more news than I normally watch because
Mm.
I've got so many loved ones that lived up in
Yeah, of
Townsville, and I've
course.
got past clients that I've worked with that live in Ingham, and half of Matthew's cricket team, were from the
Mm.
Burdekin, and so I've got people that I know all in these areas. So we've been watching,
Yeah, of
and let
course.
me tell you, the footage that we see in the media,
Mm.
just paints a really, really dire picture. And
Mm.
part of it is true, for
Yes, of
sure.
course. Hmm.
But I was just chuckling because I'm watching here thinking, oh my goodness gracious me, I need to get hold of people. And then the next thing pops up on my phone, your little video, and there you are, having a chuckle in the backyard, and your son is on his canoe in the garden. Paddling over, what's supposed to be backyard. And I just
Yeah.
thought, wow, yeah, so it is.
Mm.
It's really it's what you choose to focus on. And I think it's also how you position your
Yeah.
heart
Yeah.
in those moments.
Yeah. Agreed. And that how we position ourselves has a big part to play every day, whether life's going good, bad, all the in between. It's how we it's our state, it's our heart, it's our attitude, yeah, it's everything. And I watched again on the news this beautiful family take in some people that were stuck on the side of the roads and they were
Yeah.
trapped, and a family is putting them up. Um, and I just
Wow.
think the position of our heart, it's really what's beautiful to see in troubled times is the generosity, the goodness of people. Um, and I don't know, I think in tough situations, it's a really great reminder. There is a lot of good in the world. There is so much goodness.
Yeah.
But yeah, the media certainly don't let us see a whole lot of
To
that.
see all that. Yeah. And so as I'm hearing you share, I'm also sort of, reflecting on our uh definition, I suppose. Definition is not quite the right word, but our vision of when we think about, okay, this is a blessed year, a great year,
Yeah,
what is the picture that comes to mind?
yeah.
And I think for many, and I don't want to speak for everybody listening here, but for many, the picture that comes to mind is, comfort and everything going smoothly, and maybe drinks by the side of the pool, or
Nice.
sitting under a beach umbrella,
Yeah.
as watching the ocean. And we've, as a society, we've got these images that come to mind when we're thinking of a blessed moment, or think all things
Agreed.
great. And the images that come to mind are not often images of a family taking in someone in who's been stranded on the
No,
side of the road.
turmoil and things like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
agreed.
However, what if it is, the jubilee that we can be expected for, the good things that we can expect it
Mm,
for, can be found in the most unusual places, and what
mm,
if, I mean, I don't know, but that family who's taken in another family, what if that's the beginning of an amazing friendship, you
yeah.
know? And I think, and it reminds me of something I read the other day. I've got it right here.
Yeah.
It says, even if if your faith remains strong, even while surrounded by life's difficulties, you will continue to experience the untold blessings of God. True
Mm,
happiness comes when you pass the test of faith and receive the victorious crown of life. Isn't that
mm,
just beautiful? And I think, yes, we are going to have difficulties in life for sure. Experiences, it's part of life, it's part of living. And so positioning our hearts to see the the good, to look
yeah.
for the life and the light and the gold in the midst of
Yeah, agreed.
the generalization of,
Yeah. And that's the
the
danger,
mess.
right? The
Yeah,
like I love that you touched on that before about the brain, how it generalizes everything just so we can possibly begin to absorb some of the information
yeah,
that comes
yeah,
our way. But knowing that there can be gold, there can be these beautiful little moments by being present and not generalizing. We can
yeah,
be present in our difficult circumstances, and there is so much gold there. I mean, I had a family come in and stay with us for 3 weeks after something went wrong in their world. My
yeah,
goodness. I'm so thankful for that time together. Am I thankful for what happened to them? Absolutely not. But
yeah,
what has come from that season in our life, we are tremendous friends. And
yeah.
what came from that tough moment, and it was incredibly difficult for their season as
Oh, for
well.
sure. Yeah.
But I think about my husband with all of these, we had like, I don't know, 10 children under one roof, and it
Oh,
was
Al,
wild.
you're incredible. Like, yeah, that
No,
that would be
but there's
definitely a big
gold.
challenge. There is gold.
There is
Yeah.
gold in all of these moments if we keep our spirit and our attitude and our heart postured towards expecting something good to come. Doesn't mean all bad things, there can be good things that come from all situations.
Yeah.
And I just, yeah, it's been interesting. And I think about you and your preparation for fires, and we were talking about it before, and talking about, okay, do you have all your paperwork sorted and all of those things? But you said something really beautiful before too. You're like, everything can be replaced.
Yeah.
All of those bits and pieces. Yeah, it's good to be mindful. Good to have a plan. Your plan is to
Yep.
just leave
Yeah, my plan is to sort of grab the essentials, passport,
and
marriage
go.
certificates, birth certificates, whatnot, and leave. And I do. I love my home. And
Yeah, it would be
if like
terrible.
worst case scenario, if we were, like the Los Angeles fires, I mean, goodness me,
Yeah,
that's another huge thing that's happened in the year of 2025. It
yeah,
it would be so easy to kind of think, my gosh, this is going to be another one of those, just awful, awful. But my encouragement is, we have a choice.
yeah.
And the choice is, what story do you want to partner with?
Mm,
What story do you want to buy into?
yeah.
And I know that, which one I'm going to choose.
Agreed. What would you say for people who are going, oh, but that's just like positive thinking. That's just like, being optimistic and not being a realist. Like, where would you go with that? If someone, I mean, here I am, I'm bringing it to you right now, Kath.
Yeah, putting me in the hot seat, Al. And it's
Yeah.
quite funny because there was a talk I listened to by Professor Richard Boyatzis last year, and it was on, coaching and uh, how do we assist people to make sustained change in their life,
Okay.
towards the
Yeah, yeah.
positive. And he made this joke as he was presenting, and he said, oh, there's two kinds of people, in the world. There's optimists and then there's realists.
Yeah.
So yeah, to your question, and I think, I will very easily put my hand up and confess that I am an optimist.
Mm,
And but by choosing to be optimistic about things and to try and look for the good doesn't mean you're denying
mm,
the bad. It doesn't mean you're ostriching and pretending that nothing else is going on around you. Of course there's awful things
mm,
going on around us and in the world. And I think uh I could choose to focus on all that's negative. And in my life, what that does for me is that just spirals me downwards.
mm,
And then I shift into the state and way of being where I'm not helpful to anybody, let alone myself,
Hmm.
you know,
Mm.
or I could choose to try and find, be a bit more optimistic and look
Mm.
at where's the hope,
Yeah.
and where's the choice
Yeah.
in this circumstance, which then positions me to hopefully be a little bit more useful
Yes.
and helpful to what
Yeah.
with the situation and the circumstance. So I think there is a difference between um positivity that denies reality
Mm.
and also accepting reality, but choosing to position your heart and your eyes to look for the light in the life within the
Yeah.
darkness.
Agreed. And that's a beautiful, articulate response there. And what was coming to my mind is like this image of our posture, how we show up every day. And especially in light of the conversation we've had since the beginning of this year on our podcast is believing and being expectant for the year of the Jubilee and having, this great year and positioning ourselves. If we are looking for that, it has a lot to do as well with how we posture ourselves. We talk about it in coaching about who we want to be.
Yeah,
We've got to prepare ourselves for who we want to be. And if we want to be a light, especially in the darkness, if the
yeah,
world is dark and we want to be a light and we want to bring light and encourage others to go after life and light, then we need to be able to bring it. And we can't do that if we're not having that more positive, I guess, outlook and we're not looking for where the blessings and where the life is.
well, if we're getting lost in the dark then
We're not
it's
bringing
really
it.
well, it's really difficult to then try and bring hope and encouragement and
Yes.
light. And so uh
Mm.
yeah, so I think, for anybody listening, I think the big inspiration here is that we, in any moment of every day, have a choice,
Yeah.
and the choice might not have anything to do with the circumstance and the situation,
Yeah.
but the choice is what's happening in our heart and
Yeah.
what are we looking at,
Yeah.
and what are we focusing on. And for me, because it's not always that easy. And sometimes it can be that you're in a situation where you think, well, I truly cannot actually see any light here. It just
Yeah.
all feels so dark. And there's nothing about this at all. I think of my friend who's recently just lost her husband. I mean, goodness me,
Mm.
if I just think for a moment about being in her shoes, I just
Mm.
go, I just sort of get goosebumps and just my whole heart just sinks. And so
Yeah.
absolutely have empathy for where she is. And but I know even then, if because that probably in my life right now would be one of like the worst case scenarios for me to have to endure. But I have my faith, and
Mm.
that's where I would go. And I
Yeah.
would just go and sit in, like with my heavy heart,
Yeah.
um, with God, and just go, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to focus. I don't know how to see this,
Yeah.
and just ask
Yeah.
for that help.
Yeah.
And I'm so grateful that I have that.
Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. And
Yeah.
people in our world as well. We've got great people in our world
Oh,
in all of those
yeah.
seasons. So,
Wow.
and the opportunity that for us to be that for others is a great honor.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so interesting conversation today, and our encouragement is, yes, your year may well have started, and maybe your year's going great and things are working out really, really well, but maybe it's not. And where does that leave you? What
Yeah.
choice do you want? I often think about the idea that nothing can take away our thoughts and take away our choice. We always have it. If there's one thing that's certain, we've got our own thoughts, and to be able to control our thoughts and to think about those things and make really choices that, what's our saying, Kath? Go where the life is.
Oh,
No matter
absolutely.
our
Yeah.
season, no matter what's going on, it's to go where the life is. And so our encouragement today for you is to, what choice do you have? Where is the life in your day? Um, yeah, in spite of the
Yeah, in spite
circumstances.
of I just love that. And I think that is actually the bottom line of, how do we be expectant for a great year?
Mm.
We be expectant for a great year by choosing to go where the life is. And that can look very different to the surface level of, it's all about sunshine and roses and, that other sort of surface level positive. And
Mm.
I think our encouragement that it is possible, absolutely,
Yeah.
to choose to go where the life is, even when it feels like,
There's not a
life's
lot.
moving in the opposite direction of this hope and this joy that you're expecting for. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, very good. And on that note, my going where the life is cleaning all the mud and the mold off my walls
Oh, my friend.
and getting some
Yeah.
sparkling walls happening again. Well, it
Yeah.
won't be for long, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well, and on this note, also as we wind up, I'm really excited for what we're going to be bringing next week.
Me
And I
too.
think if you're listening to this and you're thinking, goodness, I don't even know where to begin to kind of go where the life is and what are they even talking about? And so we're excited that next week we're going to be sharing a new little course we've created in the back end that
Yeah.
will be in our membership, available in our membership for free for all our membership
Yes.
members,
Yeah.
where we leave you with a whole lot of foundations for choosing to go where the life is.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's and the bottom line is, yes, while we're choosing to go where the life is, that's helping us to live a brave, strong, and fulfilled life. And that's
yeah,
our encouragement. That is our hope and our desire for everybody who partners with us, in this space, in the podcast space, who
yeah.
join in with our conversations, to go where the life is, live a life that is brave and strong and absolutely fulfilled. And so next week, come along because we've got lots to share. We've got lots to share regarding this mini course that we've created. We are very excited and we can't wait to share it with everybody.
Great. Thanks, Al. See you next
All right.
week.
Have a blessed week.